Greetings, everybody. I'm Jeremiah.
That's him.
She's Vania.
That's me.
Welcome to another episode of the Beard and Curls podcast, where culture and creativity meets consciousness.
If you're new here, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel.
Or follow us on your favorite platform for the latest, most exciting conversations anywhere.
Okay, let's do this.
Cue that intro.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Margot Bingham.
Karen Parsons.
You're now tuned in.
You're now tuned in.
You're now tuned in.
You are now tuned in.
You are now tuned in
to Beard and Curls.
Beard and Curls.
Beard and Curls.
Beard and Curls.
Beard and Curls. Keep it locked.
Today's guest is an author and a motivational speaker who is passionate about people and progress. You may have heard him on LA Talk Radio and the Modern Christian Man podcast. We're talking about none other than Rob G. Adams.
Rob, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you on, boss.
So, Rob, let's talk about Win From Within, Discovering the Champion Inside. What was your inspiration behind this book?
Yeah, so my book basically, as you said, Win From Within, is about my personal journey overcoming cancer at only 20 years old. I was in my second year of college, and so just a little backstory. I was very athletic, healthy guy growing up. Playing sports, like I said, just doing my thing. And I began to have headaches a lot. And I was finishing up my spring semester of my second year. And I called my mom, who's a nurse. I said, hey, Mom, I'm having these headaches. Like, I don't know what's going on, And she said, well, maybe we need to get you to a doctor, get a good checkup, it should be okay. And I went to a doctor near my school, had the checkup done, blood work, all the basic stuff. And he said everything looked fine. And so I went home thinking everything was cool, or went to my dorm, should I say, thinking everything was cool. And fast forward a little bit, we get to the summer of 2007 at this time, and I'm still having these headaches off and on. Like literally, I would take like a Tylenol or something for it, it would go away. Then I would, another few hours, it would come back. I'd take another Tylenol. I was doing this pretty much every day for months. And so when I came home for summer break in 2007, my mom's like, I told her I'm not doing better. Like these headaches are still there. And so she said, we need to get to maybe like a specialist, like a ear, nose, and throat doctor, who's a specialist, ear, nose, and throat, ENT doctor. And so we did that. Same thing. I went to this doctor. She did some basic tests and things like that. Didn't see anything worth, mentioning or concerning. It wasn't anything concerning at this time either. So by the third visit, my mom's like any mother would be, hey, look, my son's been to 2 different doctors. None of you seem to know what's going on. We have got to look further because it's been going on. At this point, it was almost 6 months. Yeah, since the first headaches started. And so the doctor used like an endoscope, which goes up the nostril, and it saw like a little mass in the back of my nose. And she said, we need to get a biopsy. I'm not going to say anything yet, but, sometimes young men his age get tissue that grows back there like a polyp. It's not uncommon. She said, but you need to get a biopsy to really see what's up. So we did that. I went to a hospital in Washington, D.C., and got the biopsy done. I remember the doctor coming out. My mother and my younger sister were in the office that day. And the doctor's like, I'm so sorry to tell you, but you have cancer. And I had a very rare type of cancer. And so I think the numbers are like, I don't know, like 100,000 people get this type of cancer, let alone an African-American male at 20 years old. So it was a very, very heavy diagnosis to deal with at that time and process, but I never really doubted. I never doubted God. I never doubted that I was going to die or that I wouldn't make it. I really mean that. Like I was very just quiet. I listened to what he was saying, but I didn't really freak out. My mother, of course, was crying, very emotional, as any mother would be, to hear a diagnosis like that of a healthy young man, your son. So fast forward a little bit, I start treatments, mostly radiation treatments. So from about July of 2007 to December was like all 6 months of treatment. Obviously, I didn't go back to school for the fall semester in August. Like most kids, I would have been in school for fall semester. I couldn't go because I'm in treatment. And, my buddies and friends are calling the house, hey, where's Rob at? What's going on? We haven't seen him. He ain't picking up. He ain't returning our calls. And, and I'm just like, I just needed that quiet time. And I just kind of like this isolation period, almost like COVID right now for most of us, right? Where you just relaxing and just chilling in the house and you're just kind of dealing with your own self, your own thoughts. And, you know, I definitely had a lot of lows, and I explained that in the book. I got down to like, I think my lowest weight was like 147. I was about 185 coming out of like college, you know, my second year. And I ended up dropping weight to about 145 because of treatment, and just, you know, you don't have an appetite going through treatment. It really takes away your desire to eat. And so you lose weight. And so I had to get on nutrition programs and all these, you know, shakes, these medical shakes that my doctors recommended to sustain my weight and things. And so being fatigued a lot, I give an example in the book about one time brushing my teeth and literally being tired, like literally want to just sit down and like chill out for hours because I'm like exhausted, just brushing my teeth, a basic thing, right? And I wanted to share that in the book because I felt like it would be very, you know, give the reader like at first bird's eye perspective as to, you know, how difficult it was at this time for me. And so I definitely had some lows, and I wanted to channel that in the book. And I'm very blessed to say that after the 6 months of treatment and care, I did my first PET scan, and it came back cancer free. And that was in January of 2008. And then, you know, ever since then, so it's been almost 13 years now since that ordeal. And I wrote this book to inspire and to really, you know, let people know there's always hope, and that, you know, even in the toughest situations, you can bounce back, and that there is a champion inside of you. And that's the whole discovering the champion inside part of my title, because you have to discover this champion. He's inside of you, or she's inside of you if you're a female, obviously. But I believe there's someone inside of all of us that we have yet to meet. And sometimes difficulty and challenges and setbacks can reveal that person. The 3 points in the book that I talk about, one is faith. By the way, these are 3 points that helped me to overcome, I believe, cancer, and got me through it and helped me live my best life now. But the first one is faith, believing that God is able to do something in your life. And I'm actually going to read a quote for each of these 3 points that are in my book. So for faith, this author is unknown. I don't know who wrote this, but they say faith is all about believing. You don't know how it will happen. You just know that it will. And I love that. And I wanted to add that to this faith section. So you got to believe, you know, you have to believe that, you know, you will make it through things, and that you're not always sure how, but you know that you will. And the second point is the power, understanding the power of your words. This is a big one for me. So what you decide to say about yourself and your life matters. Speak life-giving words. I love the quote from Tony Robbins. Some of you may know Tony Robbins is a renowned business and life strategist. He's a motivational speaker, author, really incredible guy. And I've had a chance to see him live in person, and really amazing. But he says, realize now the power that your words command if you simply choose them wisely. And then the last point is attitude determines altitude. Another big one for me. You know, you have to be determined to see the good in every situation, no matter the outcome. And that's not always easy. You know, these aren't easy when you're going through a storm or a tough time. It's not always easy to have faith, or to be positive, or to speak positive, but you have to, because it's going to reinvigorate your faith. It's going to help you to come out on the other side better. And you're going to inspire people, because people love to hear these stories, and they love to hear how you overcome difficulty. Because I believe you go through things for others anyway. I don't think it's just for you. I think in large part why I even wrote the book is because it's all about giving back and sharing your story to bless somebody else. But, you know, attitude determines altitude. I love the quote from Dr. Wayne Dyer, another internationally renowned speaker, author. He says, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And another, you know, mic drop quote, right? I mean, I love that, because, you know, if you change the way you look at things, to me, that's speaking about perspective and, you know, your attitude. If you're going to look at the glass half empty or half full, which is your choice. You know, you don't have to say, oh, I'm going to die, or I'm not good at math, or I'm never going to go to college, or I'm never going to become this, or, you know, I'll never be debt free. See that you're saying all those things, you're speaking all those things, and your attitude is then affected, and your attitude is going to change. You're going to be negative just like your words are. because, you know, I believe that things hear you. Everything has an ear. It hears you. And so the more you speak to it, you know, your body, your finances, your relationships, your business, it's going to hear you. And it's going to begin to, your world is going to begin to be exactly what you speak
Right.
after so long.
Rob, I don't know if you have more stuff, but I just wanted to kind of jump in there and say, hey, your story, man, is very inspirational. And again, you know, you overcame something very difficult. So thank you for being willing to kind of just come on here and just be open and share that with us, you know, to kind of get us started. So well, I want to get into some of the specific points that you're highlighting for sure, but I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier, like you were a regular 20-year-old going through your, you know, life and things like that. And you had these headaches and things like that. And so at any point, did you ever think that it could be cancer?
Honestly, not at all. Not at all. I mean, when I first got the diagnosis that it was cancer, it was a complete shock because again, you know, I'm at the peak of my life, you know, I played sports growing up, healthy guy, and just you don't think cancer would have been the outcome in any way. I never thought that at all. I was very much shocked. And of course my immediate family was very shocked. My friends, when they found out, they were shocked. I mean, it was definitely like a bomb dropping in the room. It was completely unexpected, and it was. I guess in a way, being young, you know, at 20, hearing that, I guess thinking back, maybe I didn't really understand even what cancer was. You know, even at 20, it was like, okay, whatever. I had cancer. You know, like I said, I listened to the doctor, but I didn't really register that it was cancer, and I didn't know what the road would look like moving forward once I start treatment. You know, the road had its ups and downs, and it had its moments where I was like, man, this is tough, and it's a spiritual battle with any type of physical, you know, issue, or it's a mental pull, it's emotional pull. It really tests everything because some thoughts I had, man, you know, what's my life going to be like when I get out of this stuff? You know, how do I go back to life? Am I going back to college, or, you know, and all these things? And by the way, I actually did finish college. I earned my bachelor's in business, so I finished school and picked back up where I started after everything was finished with treatment, because I didn't want to leave, you know, my life looking back like, you know, I wish I would have finished college, but I was able to finish and that kind of thing. But it was a complete shock, man.
I feel you. So another thing you said too is that you never doubted that you were going to get through it, that you were going to overcome that. When did you start developing that belief that you were going to be okay?
Yeah, great question. I think it has a lot to do with the way I was raised growing up. You know, my mother was a Christian woman, and, you know, she dragged me to church whether I wanted to go or not. And you know, it was something that in my household, you know, we're gonna go to church, we're gonna serve the Lord kind of thing. And it took me a while. I wasn't always that guy that was like praying and reading Bible or even cared about my faith. I was definitely like a regular young dude, just, you know, doing my thing, and I'll get to God later. And like, I think, you know, a lot of us have that attitude, and it's tomorrow's not promised. You don't know if you got time to get to God later. Don't put it off, you know, for real. Like, you don't know. And I think that has a lot of, my upbringing has a lot to do with how it shaped me and molded me. So that way, truly, when I went through the biggest test of my life, like, I would come out on the other side and things. So that faith that God would see me through, like, of course, like the quote said, I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know when, but I just knew it would happen. That was it. That's all I knew. And I just had to just believe that. That was my faith. Like, man, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it through this some kind of way.
Wow. And so another thing too, man, like you said, like the stuff that we go through is not necessarily for us. It's for others, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. So when did you decide that you couldn't just keep this to yourself and you had to share this story and you had to go public with the stuff that you've been through?
Yeah, I think it was a point where I realized, like, at first I didn't really want to write it, the story. I was like, you know, when I, like, fresh out of it in 2008, 2009, it took a couple of years for me to really sit down and want to write this story. Because at first I was like, nah, I'm gonna just, you know, just get back to life, you know. And I was regaining my weight, I was working out. I was doing everything I did before, and I just didn't really want to share it. But then I had a friend of mine at a church I was going to, and others actually have told me, like, yo, like, when I would share my story, they're like, you have got to write a book. Like, there's a book in you. You have to share this story because people need to hear these kind of things. And people love inspirational stuff. You know, we watch movies all the time, right? I love movies. I'm always watching something, and I like inspirational movies, and I like to hear about people who come from nothing to something, and you know how they turn a negative to a positive. Like that's what I love, and I read books like that. So it's just it just hit me like at some point like this needs to come out because there could be somebody not only just going through cancer, but maybe they went through a divorce, or maybe they lost a loved one to cancer, or maybe you know, life comes at all of us, as we'll talk about later. But challenges come, the rain, the storms come. But you know, when your foundation is strong, like you'll make it through tough stuff. You'll be able to have a testimony. And, you know that the first four letters of testimony are test. So you have to be tested to have a testimony. There's got to be some type of challenge before you can get the victory on the other side. Because you know, even like Olympic athletes, I know they had the Olympics on, not the Olympics, but they had a track meet recently. I don't know, I guess it's in preparation for the Olympics, but and one track guy was sharing his story real quick, and he's been training for years for this opportunity, for one race to qualify. So it's like he's been going through all the rigors of training and running and eating right and ups and downs and losses and wins and all this stuff for one single qualifying race. That's it. So all the years of preparation prepared for one moment. So you know, I believe that everything in your life prepared you for something else.
So how did this experience help you to get to know yourself better?
I think, you know, I think during the treatment, during like when everything was really, really tough, I think just having quiet time, and like it was just like myself and I. Like, of course my family was there, but you know, it's nights where I'm laying in my bed and I'm looking up and I'm tired or I'm feeling some type of way, and it's like you just have these thoughts, and I think it's that time, like the isolation time about my experience, that really helped me to grow and like just do some soul searching, like, you know, how do I want to live post, you know, once I get out of all this stuff, and just maturity too. You know, you grow up, you know, in age, but as we know, age is just a number, right? People can be older and immature and younger and mature. So just because you're older in age does not mean you're more mature. I think it's experiences and like just dealing with where you're at in your thoughts, and just, you know, what you want out of life and things like that. But this experience definitely changed me a lot, and you know, your perspective grows, and you like I said, you value things. I mean, you go from being tired after brushing your teeth to you get through that, and now you're living a regular life again, where clearly I brush my teeth every day. You know, at least y'all hope I do, right? But little things I don't take for granted anymore. You know, you just have a newfound respect for life and just people, and man, I mean, just blessings all day, little and small, like little or big, it doesn't matter. Like it's all something to be grateful for. Honestly, you're just more grateful. I think that's a big outlook I have on life now, because life is so valuable and so precious. And you know, even in the midst of COVID now, you know, so many people have lost their lives, and family members lost fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters. I mean, you gotta love each other. You gotta try to, you know, forgive and forget, and love those around you, and value your life. Seriously.
I appreciate everything you're saying, man. So I want to get super practical about this next part, because a lot of times, you know, we hear, and I'm just gonna go from the standpoint of, you know, men, you know, allowing women to kind of know how we think a little bit. So like a lot of times, you know, you hear, you know, women saying, I don't know what he thinks, or I don't know what, you know, what men want. So they've done movies about it, they've written books about it, but yet it's still something that, you know, continues to be an issue, you know, nowadays. So what are some things that a woman would need to know? Like, what are some questions that she should ask to know that she's investing her time in the right guy, in a quality guy, and an honorable guy?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. She needs to ask, like we said, at the ground level, beginning stages, like, you know, what do you want? First of all, like a man, we're not that hard to figure out. Men are very simple. Like, she needs to know where my head is. Like, am I just here to play around and date a lot of women and have fun, or do I want commitment and one day of marriage? That has to be understood right off the jump. Like, don't invest, because a lot of us, depending on the answers to these questions, a lot of us shouldn't have even gone into construction with someone. We should have canceled construction. Don't even build the building, because you are in 3 years in it, and that guy or girl, you should have never even started building anything with them. Cancel construction. This ain't, because they're not even mentally where they need to be in their life. And this should not have ever happened. So understanding where someone's mindset is, ask the questions like, where's your mind at? Like, what do you want in the next 3 years? You know, and if he's playing around, or if he's like, well, I don't know, or I'm just taking it easy, I'm just hanging out, I'm just having fun. Well, then, baby, you already know what you need to know. Like he told you. And that's another thing. Like, you can't raise a man. He's already a man. You know, his mother raised him, and he needs a woman now, help me. So a lot of women try to come into date these guys. They attract to these guys because they see him as a project. You know, they see him as a sort of he has potential. Like I said earlier, he has potential. And I do believe everybody has potential. Absolutely. Just like I believe everybody has a champion inside. The difference is the effort. The difference is the actionable steps that you take to maximize the potential. Some people won't do that. And so then the potential is lost. So you have to
I
really,
wanted to add something real quick. So these women may see the potential in him, but if he doesn't see the potential in himself, then it is a project because he's not taking any action, right? So the woman is seeing that potential and then is staying longer than needed while waiting for him to start doing something, or the woman remains hopeful, but actually the guy is being honest, like what you're saying. I don't know, I'm just chilling. That's actually an answer.
yeah, it is.
But if the woman is in denial, she's not going to take it as an answer, but it is actually an answer.
Yeah. And I agree. Like, I think I do believe that your life partner should absolutely level you up, and they should be an asset to you. And I believe that the right woman for me, the right, you know, the right person for you will take you higher and higher and higher. I do believe it's a collaborative effort, but I'm also a believer that I'm not dating to find a woman to save me or to help me get my credit right or help me, you know what I mean? So there's the difference. Like, yes, you as a helpmeet are your husband has things in him that you will come beside him and help him go even further and stretch and push him. Sure. But you don't necessarily go into dating and look for someone to just do that to. Like, I'm going to look for someone to date who has all these problems and issues, and I'm going to come and save them and make them better. That's not the way to date. You should be complete. They should be complete. Y'all come together and then build higher and higher and higher. Like, absolutely. You help each other level up and reach dreams and heights you never thought possible. That's why God made us for each other, because like God said to Adam in the beginning, you know, it's not good for man to be alone. So I'm going to create a helpmeet for you. So God understands Adam needed a helpmeet. There were things that, okay, Adam has named all the animals. He has a relationship with me, but he needs a woman. He needs a partner, a soulmate. He needs a connection that's a female, not me, God, right? He needs a female connection. And so God understands that. But I just think sometimes we date and we want to get so excited about someone's potential, and then we don't ever let them show us that they want it as bad as we want it for them, because you can't want it more for him than he wants it for him. I can't want it more for her than she wants it for her.
Exactly. And another thing is like, why would somebody want somebody? Why as a woman, why would I want a guy that needs to be fixed in so many areas? That would say something about me too, about myself. Because why am I attracted to that? Do you see what I mean? Is it because he's gonna be needing me more so I can feel more important? Is it because so I think there are more layers underneath that too. Because
Absolutely.
because nobody would choose like a broken car versus a brand new car, right? You're not gonna intentionally say, give me the broken car with all the problems, and I'm gonna go to a road trip with that on a road trip with a broken car. So why do people choose unhealthy or get himself into unhealthy relationships? So there is more to that also. Like, a lot of self-reflection can be done and healing also.
Self-esteem, a number of things as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's I think it's a lot to do with self-esteem. And I was watching something not too long ago, and this speaker was talking about, you know, you can have chemistry with a lot of people. He's a married man, by the way. He's a married man. He said, you can have chemistry with a woman outside of your wife. Chemistry is not enough to marry someone for. And we always say that, oh, I have chemistry. Oh, so I guess I should pursue them. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I've had chemistry with women that were not for me at all. And I know they weren't. But we got along. We have the same, we like cars. I like sports cars. She likes sports cars. That doesn't mean she's my wife or I need to engage in a relationship with her. Chemistry can be very easy. But as you know, it takes time to get deeper and really see if we have core values and like we really align in our lives and our purposes. And like, you know, it's very important that we see early on, like if you know you attract to those kind of guys, you know, project guys who have potential, but they're not doing anything. Yeah, you need to look inside yourself and just make sure and understand that you're not their God. You're not their savior.
Okay.
You're not there to save people in a literal sense.
Gotcha.
I'm all about helping. I'm all about being a blessing to people. I think all of us are meant to be a blessing to each other. Absolutely.
Let me ask you though. I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off, man. But let me ask you this. So let's say like the guy, you know, doesn't have he's not somebody that needs to be fixed or anything like that. But the woman just wants to be sure that she's not going to be wasting the next 6 months of her life with maybe the wrong person, or maybe it's not the right fit for her. What are some other type of questions that she can ask to ensure that she's investing her time in somebody who may be the one for her?
Yeah, I think another big question, like I said, is you know, definitely ask him where his mind is. Like, what does he want in the next? What are his goals? Right, next 3 to 5 years. What do you want? Where do you want to be? Because right there, you can find out quickly if someone's going in your direction or not. If he doesn't want marriage and you know you want marriage, why do you keep talking to the guy? So right there, you need to find out his goal. Where's his head at? And then really just assess when you talk to him. Assess kind of the flow of the conversation. Like, what is the conversation? Is it always just joking around, playing around? We're just cutting up on the phone all day and night, and that's why you like him. Like, what really attracts you to him?
Mm-hmm.
What really gets you going about this person? Again, when you know yourself, back to those 3 steps I said earlier, when you know who you are yourself, that's the first one. You've already identified what you need, who you are, what you want, where you want to go. You know your 5 love languages. So you already will be able to better assess if this man or woman is even worth your time. That's why I said the first step is knowing yourself. Second step is knowing what you want. You got to ask yourself, is this man even what I want? Why do I even like this person? Why am I interested in him? What do they have besides good looks or being funny that I can see in a lifelong partner? And again, this is only if you want to date to find a real partnership. If you're just dating for fun, then you don't got to listen to none of this. But if you really want a better relationship, to find love, to be in a beautiful relationship one day, you got to find out, like, why am I attracted to them? And then go in within yourself and really answer the questions. Do they line up with what I have defined for myself, what I want, where I see myself going? Are we aligning? Are they working hard just as I'm working hard? Those types of things.
I feel, and I wanted to go back to something specifically you said earlier, as far as like, you know, is he the kind of guy that maybe just wants to get with a whole bunch of different women? So now we're starting to get into intentions. One of the things that I've always kind of mentioned to women that I've either, you know, talked to or coached or counseled or something like that is you want to be able to be specific with this question. A lot of times guys don't know how to respond to this question. You know, if a woman says, what are your intentions? You know what I'm saying? If you don't get the response that you need right away, that will tell you everything you need to know. If he says, you know what do you mean by intentions? Like, okay, just the fact that you're asking me to repeat that, maybe you need more time to answer to kind of get you out of this. Or, you know what? I'm just a fly by the seats of my pants kind of guy. So, you know, whatever it is, so you can kind of get a sense of, so what am I dealing with here? Because if a guy is for real, he's serious about you, he'll be like, you know what, my intentions are, I'm looking for somebody to settle down with. I'm looking for a wife, and be able to say, this is what my wife would look like, and you happen to fit that. And so he won't really have to do a whole lot of thinking. You know what I'm saying? I think it was Judge Judy said it a long time ago. When people are telling the truth and they speak from the heart, you don't have to really think too much. And so that would just tell you what's on their heart. And so I think asking these questions to kind of know, like, what is this guy's intentions? I think is always also an important question for women to ask.
I like how that sounded. Yeah. No, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I so agree with that. Like, it's when a man knows what he wants, he knows what he wants. I mean, you got to be like I said, you in that step 2, you got to know what you want. Like in your singleness, like that brother or that woman needs, when they're single, they need to be addressing these things. So that way, like I said, you're not going to be building at the 10th floor on the penthouse level. You've already built 3 years with someone and you don't even know what the relationship is. You can't define it because, again, you got caught up in your feelings and you weren't practical. You weren't thinking in terms of, okay, I'm wasting all this time with this guy or girl. We haven't even defined what we are. We ain't even on the track to marriage. And guess what? If a man dates you for so long and he ain't proposed or mentioned marriage, he probably won't. I'm telling you, it don't take forever. I think you'll actually know sooner than later that someone's for you or not. It doesn't take, and I know the timeline may be different. You know, some people date. There's men who went on 3 dates and proposed to their woman. There's men who dated 3 years and proposed. So I'm not going to say there's a definite time, but I know that sooner than later, you usually know, like you get that conviction in your heart, like this is my wife or this is my husband. And it's just a matter of us keeping on the right path and then having this conversation. That's why communication is so critical, because you can talk about these things openly, right? We're all adults. That's why you have to date an adult, right? You can't date a boy. You're a woman, but he's a boy. Or I'm a man and she's a girl. We need 2 adults to come together and say, look, let's have conversation. Let's sit down. Let's talk about the finances. Let's talk about some goals, like what you want out of life, what I want out of life. And let's see if we align, because again, I don't want to spend years and months with you building, and we're not even compatible. We're not even flowing the same way. And you see it so many times, people with someone, they've spent so much time with so much energy, so much effort. And the relationship, they should have canceled construction from the beginning, because the person was never meant for them in the first place.
I like that construction.
Let me ask you this next one though, because I want to get like super practical on this one as well. So, what might a woman be doing, whether intentional or unintentional, knowingly or unknowingly, that may push a good man away without her meaning to do so? Like, what are some things that women need to be more mindful about that they're doing, that they need to stop doing, like right now, to keep that guy from leaving?
This is a good
So you saying things that, okay, so things that a woman needs to stop doing right now to keep from running away a good man. Is that it?
Turn dudes off and push them away, because there's certain things that they're doing that they just need to stop doing, like right now.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a good question. I think sometimes women, that's why, you alluded to that earlier about when should you ask these questions about, let's just say we were talking about the FICO score and credit. Like obviously the first dinner date, don't ask a man for his FICO score or things like that. I think that's a little too early, but just sometimes women don't come off too pushy with the man either. You got to let him be a man. Like he will address and express himself as he feels needed. And definitely don't push the marriage topic in the ground. Like, don't sweat him for it. If he hasn't mentioned after y'all been dating for a while and he's, like everything's going good, if he hasn't alluded to marriage even a little bit or hasn't thought about anything like that, don't beat a dead horse. Don't box him in and make him like, where's the ring at and where's this and that. Like, men don't like women that are on them about everything. Like, definitely give me my space. Like, I'm thinking, and if I want to be with you long term, I'm gonna definitely express that. That's where you just gotta let a man be a man. Like, let him come to you. He needs to pursue you, and that brings up a whole other topic in this 21st century we're in. Like, women are chasing the men, and they're on these dating sites, and they're messaging guys, and they're, hey, can I take you out? And I it's my opinion, I'm personally not with that. I'm not with the woman pursuing the man like that, especially in the beginning. Now, after y'all been together for a while, and let's say you treat me to dinner, that's fine. That's cool. But I'm saying the first day, the first beginning stages, you out buying him this, you buying him that, you picking him up because he ain't got no car. Come on now, like, you really setting the stage to show this man you're the man and he's the woman. You flip the script, like, and I know women are doing this, and they may be great women, but I don't believe you should be doing this stuff, bending over backwards for a man you don't even know yet. He should be showing you, I'm coming in your life, baby, to add value to you. I'm here to pick you up. I'm here to take you around. I'm here to spend money on you because I'm gonna show you that I got my stuff together. And I just like, if a man ain't together, then maybe again he needs to be single for a little bit and get himself together before he dates.
Like the way you said it is so funny. It's like so serious talking. We start laughing. The way you said everything like in a row.
Yeah. So seriously, like those are some of the things that women need to stop doing right now. And so
Absolutely.
I want to get to the pursuit in a little bit because I think that's excellent. I definitely want to get into that. So another thing I'll kind of share something that I've been noticing, and maybe you tell me your thoughts on that, Rob. Is like I see a lot of times women got like a ring, you know what I'm saying, like in this finger right here, you know what I'm saying, it's like the middle finger, or you know on this hand, doesn't matter. But it's like as a man, you know what I'm saying, if I'm looking for somebody and I'm particularly interested in somebody, and I see you got a ring anywhere on your finger, I'm not gonna sit around and try to like assess, is this the ring finger or is this another finger? Like, like you got to be thinking like, okay, so you're on the market, you want somebody to pay attention to you. Is there anything that you're setting off that would make somebody maybe pull away or second guess or question? So even something as minor as where you have a ring on your finger could maybe potentially cause a man to maybe look elsewhere or look another way, because at the end of the day, it's like, what are you trying to accomplish? And is this helping?
Yeah. That's good. I agree. Like anytime if I'm looking at a woman, I'm having a conversation with her and she's got a ring, definitely on the ring finger, I'm not even going there with her. But sometimes girls wear rings, you know, like you said, on other fingers. And, you know, and that's where we got to be just upfront. Like people nowadays are married and they're not being honest about their marriage. They'll go out and they're taking the ring off and it looks like they're single, but they're not. And I have female friends who've gotten in entanglements with men who were married, but they lied and said they weren't. And I think definitely if you're interested in having a partner one day, you know, you want to have a husband, you got to be able to, don't wear your ring on your ring finger if you're not married. Okay. That's number one. But just how you are as a person, like in the conversation, the flow of things, like some women honestly come off like, I remember in the movie Hits, you know, with Will Smith, he was the scene of him in the club with the actress Eva Mendes, I believe her name is Eva Mendes. And remember, he was talking to her, and he noticed her in the bar or wherever it was, club, and he comes over and sits down with her, and he's like, "You got the," I won't say the word, but he's got the F off on her forehead, right? Because her vibe was just like not like engaging. It didn't seem like she wanted to talk to nobody.
Right.
And so sometimes you hear men will say that, you know, a woman just comes off, she's single, she wants love, but she just comes off sour or like maybe she's, again, maybe some past relationships have you know, done some trauma to her and she's a little not trustful or trusting people or whatnot. But just you win more bees with honey, as they say. So if you want a relationship, you gotta, you know, be friendly and be cordial and be open and not look like, you know, leave me alone, you know, with the whole like X over your forehead and all of that. Like just that'll be a turnoff. No one will ever want to really get to know you. And again, you may be single and ready for love, but just by the way your body language speaks and the way you are as a person, it's just like ain't nobody really going to take you seriously.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
So finding the right balance is important because you don't want to pursue the man, but you don't want to be unfriendly either. So it's like finding a balance where you still come across friendly and you still show that you're available, but then allow the guy to do his thing also.
Absolutely. Allow him to be a man. Like if I don't say anything else, let a man be a man, because like we said, women want a guy that they can, you know, is a project for them and they see potential in a man and they like him. And he genuinely may be a good man. I'm not saying that, but again, you have to let him lead. Men are built to be leaders, right? This was our God-given assignment. We came to earth. If you are a male child, you were born to be a leader, period. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian, whatever your ethnicity is, your background, you went to Harvard or you went to a junior college. You are a man. You were meant to lead. You will one day have a family. You're meant to be that leader of that family. And so, if you're a woman, and you're interested in a guy who's not able to lead, that could be a deal breaker. And I'm not saying he needs to be a leader every time on every little thing, but I'm saying you need to see qualities of him stepping up. Just like when it comes to planning a date, I love to plan a date. I'm a planner by nature. I love to tell a woman like, hey, be ready at 7 p.m. on this date. I'll be there. And she'll be like, where are we going? I say, don't worry about it. Like, it's going to be a surprise. I love planning because it shows her right out of the gate. Like, okay, Rob is going to plan. He's going to show me a great time. Like, I don't need her to suggest. I may ask her, of course, what her favorite food is. So I know ideally what restaurant or whatever to take her to. But stepping up and just being able to lead in that way, women find that attractive. And I feel like a lot of men in this generation are not leaders. They're not stepping up, especially when they want a wife. They praying to God for a wife, but yet they don't step up and handle their business and go after the wife and be consistent and like be genuine and all the things that a woman wants to see from a man. Be a leader. You know what I mean? Don't wait for her to lead you. Don't wait till she, on the first of few dates. Don't expect her to tell you, for her to set the date up. Like that's your job. You're the man. You want her, pursue her.
No, but that's exactly where I was going with it, man. So describe for everybody listening right now, what does that pursuit look like? So like if a woman is ready, the guy is ready, and he's pursuing a woman that he wants, what does that look like so the women out there can hear when they need to be pursued by the right guy?
Absolutely. Well, the guy's gonna express interest. He's gonna reach out to you some kind of way. I'm personally not big into dating sites. I don't have any dating pages, but no shade to people who got dating sites. If that's the way you believe it'll come, so be it. But the point is, a man will reach out to you, right? He's gonna express interest right off the bat. He's gonna send something to you, message you, whatever, get your attention. Then he's gonna plan a date, not Netflix and chill on the first date. We ain't doing that, because that guy mindset is somewhere else, and I think we know where he's at. That's not a guy who really genuinely wants to get to know you on out of the bedroom level, if you get what I'm saying. Like a man that genuinely wants to find a wife, not just sex, he's gonna want to take you somewhere out, a dinner, restaurant, movie, walk in the park, hiking. He's gonna try to do something in the beginning to show that, hey, look, I'm serious with you, and I want to show you to the world, and I want to take you out on some incredible date. I'm gonna plan it. I'm gonna pick you up. I'm gonna make sure it's perfect for you. And even after the first date, he's gonna be consistent. That's the main thing I hear from women. Men aren't consistent. They'll take her out on a date, or he don't get what he wants the first date, so he just falls off. And then he'll text you in 3 weeks, hey girl, what's up? What you doing? Like, bro, like you gotta keep the momentum going. You do the first date. He's gonna call you. He's gonna FaceTime you. Whatever he needs to do to build that relationship. Show you that he's really involved. Again, all this time, you're not doing so much chasing as a woman. You're sitting back, letting him show you what he's about, and you're listening to him. You're observing things, and you're putting it all together in your head while he's constantly trying to step up, be that man, lead you, show you that he's serious about you. Like, if nothing else, like seriously, it's actually unattractive to see a woman pursue me. Like if a woman pursues me, and I'm not saying messages me or like smiles or has a conversation, but if she's like always wanting to take me out or something, I would be uncomfortable actually, because I'm not used to that. Like that's not the way I'm used to dating. I'm used to taking you out. I'm used to showing you a great time, because that makes me feel like the man. And a man, we have ego. We need to feel like we're in control, not to be controlling. There's a difference. I don't want to be controlling. Right. I just need to feel like you let me be the man. And that's also, you just reminded me that a quality that can turn a good man away is a woman who is controlling. I've had women that I've went on dates with who wanted to control every little thing, either about me or the date or why this, why that. And it's all these questions. And it's like, okay, can you just relax and let me be the man? Like I'm taking you out. Like what do you have so much questions about? And so controlling personalities or controlling qualities in a man or woman is super unattractive and a definite potential deal breaker.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So Rob, man, you dropped the hammer. You dropped heavy. All of that, man. I think there'll never be the need for another book or movie to come out on this. Man, this is it.
This is it.
This is it.
Let's drop the mic.
I like that.
So, Rob, I know you're an author and everything like that, but you're also a motivational speaker. Like, do you travel around and share some of these tips and things like that? Some of these things that you've learned over the years with others?
Yeah, it's been a little slow, obviously, recently due to COVID. Everything's really closed down a lot. So not as much speaking as I would like this year, but it's definitely something I want to ramp up with once things kind of get back to normal and get out and share things and speak at, relationship. I do a lot of panels and things, and, they invite me to be on a panel for relationships or anything really, faith or I mean, if it's positive, I would love to be a part of it, whatever it may be. But that's definitely something I want to ramp up with in the near future. And again, it's just building better relationships, being the best person you can be in your singleness. If you're single now, watching, listening, just keep loving yourself, keep growing in your development, your self-discovery road. Remember, self-discovery takes a lifetime, but the clock starts now. So you're gonna learn about yourself every day. There's gonna be things I'm nowhere near perfect in my self-discovery. I have so much still to learn, but I know that I take more time in my self-discovery and just enjoying and loving who you are. Like, you can't love someone else effectively until you love yourself. That's a fact. Like, you have to be okay with you. If you are looking for a man to fill a void because you're not okay with you, you're gonna have a problem, because guess what? When that man leaves, you're now still broken just the way you were before him. Or vice versa. If you're a guy and you got this hole in your heart, you don't know who you are, you're scared, you've been through trauma, you're looking for a woman to fill your hole. Guess what? If that woman leaves, now you're back where you started at square one. So you have to love yourself. You have to deal with yourself first before you can effectively love someone else, because marriage and children, all that stuff's a serious commitment. And last thing you want to do is be in that relationship with a great woman or a great man and you're lost. And a lot of women say that. They're like, I don't know who I am. I'm just all about this person, and I don't know who I am. And that's the worst place to be. Then you're unhappy and the relationship may suffer. So, keep doing self-discovery, keep loving and being who you are, and then you'll meet the right person when it's time.
Definitely.
That's what's up.
So, Rob, where can someone find you online?
I'm available on all social media platforms at Rob G. Adams. And you can also purchase a copy of the book, Win From Within, Discovering a Champion Inside, on my website. It's IamRobGAdams.com. And I also provided a link to my website on my Instagram page. And yeah, grab a copy for a family member, a friend, yourself. It's an inspirational read. And it's a short book. It's not very long. I've got a lot of, after each chapter, there is little journal sections where you can take notes or, do some reflection. So it's more like a journal, but this book is just hopefully inspire somebody and bless you. And just never forget, there's a champion inside of you. You just got to discover him.
That's what's up. Rob, man, you drive so much knowledge here, man. Thank you for everything you share with us today, brother. Much love, much love.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's our show for today.
Thanks again for tuning in.
And as always, like it or not, beard and curls is the new his and hers.